and good evening. You're watching DD India and this is Express News with me, Nancy Kohli. Let's take a look at the top stories of the day. Confirmed cases of COVID-19 in India has reached 114, of which 17 are foreign nationals. Meanwhile, as a positive development, 13 out of the affected people have recovered and have been discharged after treatment. Maharashtra with 32 cases have the highest number of reported cases, followed by Kerala with 23. Uttar Pradesh has reported 13 cases, while the national capital Delhi has 7 cases reported so far. Prime Minister Modi has taken to Twitter to highlight the importance of community participation in fighting coronavirus. The Prime Minister said that many people are highlighting different aspects of how India is combating COVID-19. He added this is certainly boosting the morale of all those remarkable people at the forefront of fighting COVID-19. And later in a series of tweets, the Prime Minister stressed on the coordinated efforts of different agencies in this crucial phase. The Prime Minister also said that the government is doing the best to ensure everyone is healthy and those showing symptoms are getting proper care. Briefing the media in New Delhi, the Special Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Sanjeev Kumar, said the government has made the first test and second confirmatory test for novel coronavirus free of cost for the Indian citizens. The centre has also activated 24/7 toll-free national helpline number 1075 for support and guidance and response to health-related queries on COVID-19. After the first batch of 236 evacuees that arrived at Jaisalmer on 15 March this year, a fresh batch of 53 evacuees from Iran have arrived at the Army Wellness Center, Jaisalmer, this morning. As per procedure, preliminary screening of these persons were undertaken at the airport upon arrival. Thereafter, they were moved to the quarantine facility at Jaisalmer. Railway Board has given instructions to all zonal railways as a precautionary measure to check the spread of COVID-19. The Railway Board has asked zonal railways to remove curtains and withdraw blankets from all the trains. The board also directed to set the minimum temperature of ACs at 24-25 degrees Celsius. Lawyers, litigants and media personnel were thermal screened in the Supreme Court today amid the coronavirus scare. The top court that has taken several precautionary measures in wake of the pandemic has allowed only restricted entry of lawyers, litigants and journalists in the courtroom. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal took review meetings with all the district authorities on containment measures against the spread of COVID-19. Delhi Chief Minister said it has been decided that all the gyms, nightclubs, spas will be closed till 31st of March. He added that any gathering with more than 50 people, excluding weddings, will not be allowed. Further, he appealed if weddings can be postponed during this time. In the wake of coronavirus in the country, the authorities are taking all the possible measures to contain the virus. In Assam's Dibrugarh, the district administration issued advisory to close cinema halls and gathering events till 31st of March. Similarly, Lucknow administration has issued orders to shut colleges, schools, malls and hotels until 31st of March. No floor test was held in the Madhya Pradesh Assembly today, with the House being adjourned till the 26th in view of coronavirus. Earlier, the state governor Lalji Tandon finished his customary address to the Assembly on the first day of the budget session within a minute and left the House. The governor advised the legislative house to follow rules as legislative business did not mention floor tests in the list of business even after governor's directions. He appealed to uphold parliamentary traditions and responsibilities in peaceful manner. Former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Shivraj Singh Chauhan has moved the Supreme Court seeking a direction to the Kamal Nath-led government to undertake floor test in view of the political crisis in the state. The plea alleged that the direction of the governor for conducting a floor test on 16th March has not been complied with. Chauhan earlier said the governor has written a letter to the Chief Minister to get the confidence motion. He said that the present government is in minority in the House and is running away from the floor test. Senior BJP leader and MP from Madhya Pradesh, Ganesh Singh, said that Kamal Nath is running away from floor test because he knows he does not have majority. Madhya Pradesh leader of the opposition Gopal Bhargav said the state government is running away from facing the floor test, but it cannot save the government as a good number of MLAs are against it. He said the Chief Minister should resign on moral grounds. Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari replied in the Rajya Sabha on the road accidents and traffic rules violations. He said the government is committed to bringing down the number of accidents in India. He added the increase in fines is not due to the Motor Vehicles Act. Minister of State for Labour and Employment Santosh Gangwar informed the Lok Sabha that except the construction sector, all the major sectors have shown growth in employment in the country. While replying to a question, the minister said that there has been a total positive change in employment from April 2016 to October 2017 to the tune of 6.16 lakh workers in the selected 8 sectors of the economy. Social Justice and Empowerment Minister Thawarchand Gehlot informed the Lok Sabha that a research centre will soon come up in the country for the development of sign language. Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Minister Nitin Gadkari said the government is working towards finding solution to problems faced by the MSME sector. Replying to a question in the Rajya Sabha, he said the government is also contemplating on whether to take action against MD if any micro, small or medium enterprise does not receive payment within 3 months. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said that India is not immune to coronavirus pandemic. He said efforts are being mounted by the government on a war footing. He highlighted that the second round of effects of the pandemic could operate through a slowdown in the domestic economic growth, and it would obviously be a result of synchronized slowdown in the global growth. The RBI Governor appealed to the public to go for digital transactions in the light of COVID-19. He also said that the RBI has advised the banks to promote digital banking. Crisis hit Yes Bank has said it will resume full banking services from 6 in the evening on Wednesday. In a Twitter post, the private sector lender said, visit any of our 1,132 branches from 19th of March this year, post commencement of the banking hours, to experience our suite of services. You will also be able to access all our digital services and platforms, unquote. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das reiterated that depositors' money is absolutely safe. Addressing the media, he said if there is a requirement, then the RBI will provide necessary support for liquidity for Yes Bank. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has summoned Reliance Group chairman Anil Ambani in connection with its money laundering probe against Yes Bank promoter Rana Kapoor and others. He was requested by the investigating agency to join the probe today at the Mumbai office, but Ambani filed a compliance report saying he is unwell and requested exemption from appearing. Loss-making telecom operator Vodafone Idea said it has made an additional payment of 3,354 crore rupees towards adjusted gross revenue to the telecom department, thereby completing payment of principal amount calculated on self-assessment basis. With this fresh payment, Vodafone Idea has paid 6,854 crore rupees towards AGR dues. Wholesale price index-based inflation softened to 2.26% in February on the back of cheaper food items and vegetables. In January, the WPI inflation stood at 3.1%, and the year-ago period it was at 2.93% as per the data from the Commerce and Industry Ministry. The Organization of Pharmaceutical Producers of India reiterated support and commitment of its members towards working with the government in addressing the coronavirus situation by ensuring supply continuity of the medicines. It added that currently the member companies of the OPPI have adequate inventory in India, and efforts are being made to step up further production. Amid the concern over the threat from the novel coronavirus pandemic, India's share markets took a nosedive. The equity benchmark Sensex sinked 2,713 points, ending at 31,390. Broader Nifty also followed the trend by going down 758 points and ending at 9,197. Crude oil futures 4.55% to 2,287 rupees per barrel as participants trimmed their positions in line with the weak trend overseas. Indian rupee depreciated 55 paise intraday to 74.31 per US dollar. Gold prices jumped by 455 rupees to 41,610 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital amid the rupee depreciation and recovery in the global prices. Silver prices, however, dropped by 1,283 rupees to 40,304 rupees per kilogram from 41,587 rupees per kilogram in the previous trade. The number of deaths from novel coronavirus across the world has surpassed 6,000, with many countries resorting to lockdown, imposing emergency and banning the entry of foreigners. China has tightened checks on international travelers arriving at the Beijing airport after the number of imported new coronavirus infections surpassed locally transmitted cases for a second day in a row. Anyone arriving to Beijing from abroad will be transferred directly to a central quarantine facility for 14 days for observation. The number of people infected with the coronavirus in Spain has increased by a third to 7,753, and more than 100 new deaths recorded. The country's death toll from the outbreak climbed to 288. The death toll from the coronavirus pandemic in Europe has passed 2,000. A total of 2,297 coronavirus-related deaths have now been recorded in Europe, most of them in the continent's worst-hit country, Italy. Madrid's streets remain deserted after the government imposed sudden, severe restrictions on public life, and the coronavirus death toll more than doubled overnight. Spain, the second worst affected European country after Italy, on Saturday ordered its 47 million citizens to stay indoors except for necessary outings. Britain is preparing to ban mass gatherings and could isolate people aged over 70 for up to 4 months from this week as part of plans to tackle coronavirus. Italy reported 368 new deaths from the novel coronavirus, its highest one-day increase to date, taking the total 1,809, the most outside China. Germany has imposed control on its borders with France, Switzerland, Austria, Denmark and Luxembourg from this morning, while Portugal will clamp down on its frontier with Spain. Parisians woke up to a surreal ambience on Sunday with scenes of shuttered cafes, quiet streets and empty stores playing out across the French capital. The coronavirus outbreak has forced the closure of the Louvre Museum, the Eiffel Tower and the Moulin Rouge bar. Several countries have imposed ban on mass gatherings, shuttered sporting, cultural and religious events, while medical experts urged people to practice social distancing to curb the spread. Meanwhile, in Australia, anyone from overseas will be forced to self-isolate for 14 days, while lockdown measures similar to those in place in European countries remain on the table. Australia has also banned international cruise ships for the next 30 days. Washington, D.C. Mayor announced additional regulations on restaurants, taverns, nightclubs and multi-purpose facilities to prohibit mass gatherings. Latest restrictions are that the facilities cannot serve standing customers and must limit seating in tables to 6 people. Guatemala has reported its first fatality from coronavirus. The nations in South and Central America have ramped up measures to contain the infection. The deceased man was 85 years old, who had recently returned from Madrid without showing signs of illness. Bahrain has confirmed its first death due to the deadly coronavirus. The health ministry of the country said the 65-year-old man has died due to COVID-19. Bahrain has so far confirmed 140 positive cases. The Czech government has introduced stringent lockdown measures. People will only be allowed to go to and from work and buy food or medicine and make urgent family visits, but otherwise free movement will be severely limited till 24th of March. Meanwhile, Serbia has declared a state of emergency to halt the spread of coronavirus, shutting down many public spaces and deploying soldiers to guard hospitals. Kindergartens, schools and universities will remain closed until the end of the semester. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has ordered businesses to close and citizens to remain in their homes in a social quarantine affecting 6 states and the capital of Venezuela, Caracas. The organizers of the Offshore Technology Conference has announced to call off the largest oil and gas conference in Houston, which draws tens of thousands of visitors each year from around the world. Thousands of buses operated by both the government and the private sector in Sri Lanka have been sanitized following the increased number of cases of coronavirus. The Sri Lankan government has declared holiday to carry out sanitization operation nationwide to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka is conducting a week-long Buddhist prayers as means to combat the growing threat of the deadly coronavirus that has killed over 6,000 people globally. The country reported 11 cases of the deadly virus. In Pakistan, over 41 new cases of the novel coronavirus have been reported, bringing the total number of COVID-19 infections in the country to 94. All new cases were diagnosed in the southern Sindh province. A charter plane with 123 passengers on board has arrived in Kyiv International Airport from Italy. The plane carried evacuees from Ukraine. All the passengers had to undergo screening upon arrival. Amid coronavirus threat, Israel's parliament has been disinfected ahead of the swearing-in of the 120 new lawmakers on Monday. The official mandate to form a government has been given to the leader of Blue and White Party, Gantz, by the Israeli president. South Korea has reported 74 new coronavirus infections, which is slightly lower than a day ago. It also reported that 303 more patients had fully recovered and had been released from care. A total of 1,137 people have recovered and been released so far. Lebanon has declared a state of emergency, announcing a sweeping shutdown that included the closure of its airport and most public institutions and private companies as it looks to rein in the coronavirus. The shutdown would come into force from 18th to 29th of March. The Peace Corps is telling its volunteers around the world that it's suspending all the operations globally and evacuating all the volunteers in light of the spread of the new coronavirus. In an open letter on the website, the director of the federal agency said the decision follows recent evacuations in China and Mongolia. In France, exit polls have shown incumbent Paris mayor beating the former health minister and President Emmanuel Macron's candidate Agnès Buzyn into a distant third place in the first round of the local elections in the French capital. Hidalgo, a socialist with 30% votes, was comfortably ahead of conservative rival Rachida Dati's 22% and the 17.7% garnered by Buzyn, a dissident from Macron's party. Cedric Villani won 8%. Dominican voters returned to the polls for the second time in less than a month for municipal elections after a failure in voting equipment forced their suspension in February that generated a wave of protests. In Nigeria's Lagos, at least 15 people have died while many others have been injured in an explosion at a gas processing plant that destroyed approximately 50 buildings. The explosion was triggered after a truck hit some gas cylinders stacked in a gas processing plant near the corporation's pipeline in Lagos State's Abule Ado area. A Japanese man has been sentenced to death for stabbing and murdering 19 disabled people at a care home in one of the country's worst ever mass killings. The court ruled that the former employee of the facility deserved no leniency over the 2016 attack. Summer thunderstorms caused by high-pressure system from China hit several provinces of Thailand, accompanied by hail and gusty winds. The storm in Umphang caused blackout and damage to utility poles and houses. Footballers around Europe are struggling to fill the big void created by the coronavirus shutdown. Many are writing about the unfamiliar experience on social media. Some have already come to the conclusion that there is nothing to do. Former Chelsea player Fabregas shared a video on Instagram where he's giving out a Range Rover to club's Argentine goalkeeper Willy Caballero after losing a bet. The player wrote that he gave the supercar to his teammate after Caballero managed to save a penalty during Chelsea's training session where he challenged the keeper on a Range Rover. Amid deepening concerns over the spread of coronavirus, a Jordanian designer is adding a sparkle to face masks. Samia Al-Ghazal is bedazzling masks with colorful crystals to raise awareness on the importance of taking the necessary safety measures to prevent the spread of the disease. Nurman Farika Ramdani, 25-year-old entrepreneur in the Indonesian city of Bandung, thinks he has come up with a cost-effective and extraordinary idea of making shoes with the skin of snake and crocodile, which he thinks would threaten the animal population. According to a study published in the journal Frontiers in Pediatrics, the novel coronavirus may not transmit from pregnant mothers to newborn babies at birth. The study is the second out of China within the last month to confirm that mothers infected with COVID-19 disease during pregnancy did not pass the virus to their babies. Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju, along with the top officials of IOA, postponed visits to Tokyo later this month due to COVID-19 epidemic. This tour was scheduled from 25th to 29th of March for the preparations related to Olympics. Former India cricketer turned commentator Sanjay Manjrekar said that he respects the apparent decision of the BCCI to leave him out of its commentary panel for international matches and the IPL. Indian table tennis ace Achanta Sharat Kamal won the ITTF Challenge Plus Oman Open in Muscat after a convincing win over Portuguese paddler and top seed Marcos Vitas in the finals. Sharat Kamal bagged the title after he qualified for the final against Russian Kirill Shakalov. Pakistan and Bangladesh cricket boards decided to postpone the upcoming one-day international and test in Karachi amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has derailed sporting calendars globally. Bangladesh were to arrive in Karachi for the matches. Australian captain Aaron Finch and opener David Warner have raised concerns over the effectiveness of the self-isolation policy of the government to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. The Australian government had announced that anyone arriving in the country from overseas will be forced to self-isolate for 14 days in a bid to contain the spread of the coronavirus. Laying in her fourth straight final, Tai Tzu Ying defeated world number 1 Chen Yufei to lift women's singles All England Badminton Open title. The world number 2 player has won the title for the third time. In the men's singles, Denmark's Victor Axelsen defeated Chinese Taipei's Chu Tianchen in straight games to win his maiden trophy in All England Open Championships. Banned from competing in her favourite race and defending her title, the Olympic 800-metre champion Caster Semenya is trying to make the Tokyo Olympics. She will now compete in the 200 metres to hit the gold at the Olympics. Stunned by an incident of dressing room theft, the Delhi Soccer Association says it will place new security protocols to make venues theft-proof. Cell phones, cash and other belongings of a few Delhi United players were stolen during DSA's senior division match between Delhi United Club and the City FC Club at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. India's 5-time world champion chess icon Vishwanathan Anand will complete his maiden commentary assignment while being in self-isolation in Germany. His return to India is on hold due to travel restrictions forced by the COVID-19 pandemic. Paris Saint-Germain have suspended all sporting activities until further notice due to coronavirus pandemic. The PSG had announced the freezing of all the sporting sections including football and handball until Sunday and will announce a further update. Atlanta players and staff are self-isolating after 5 of their Champions League opponents. Valencia players tested positive for coronavirus. All sports in Italy have been suspended until 3rd of April, but Atlanta had been due to resume training. The first NBA player to test positive for coronavirus, Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert, said he is feeling better every day but wishes he had taken it more seriously. Rudy updated his condition on social media and urged people to take precautions to not spread the virus. The Brazilian Football Confederation said it is suspending all the matches until further notice because of the coronavirus pandemic. The CBF had initially avoided an all-out suspension, instead ordering that matches will be played in empty stadiums in the country's 2 largest cities, Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Italy coach Roberto Mancini said he was ready for European Championship to be postponed until 2021 amid the coronavirus pandemic. Nation's 60 million inhabitants are locked down to avoid the spread of the virus that has killed 1,809 and infected over 24,000. The Mexican Football League announced it would suspend the first and second division play in the women's competition in the face of the coronavirus. The suspension came into effect after the conclusion of the match between America and Cruz Azul was played behind closed doors. Australia top-order batsman Chris Lyon, who plays for Lahore Qalandars in the Pakistan Super League, left for home midway into the tournament due to COVID-19 pandemic. Lynn was bought by Sunrisers Hyderabad and in the IPL auction last year and is the latest player to join the list of the foreign players who left. Major League Soccer has extended its halt on training for all its 26 teams amid COVID-19. The league said that work with the public health officials, coronavirus experts, the players' union and officials from other North American professional sports leagues are in progress to come up with a set of safety guidelines so that teams can continue to train. In his debut for Brazilian club Botafogo, Japanese midfielder Keisuke Honda scored a 1-all draw against Bangu played in an empty stadium because of the coronavirus pandemic. Wearing the number 4 jersey, Honda scored on a penalty kick in the 28th minute. The NBA and other major sports leagues in the US could be idle for longer than initially anticipated under new recommendations from the Centers for Disease Control to combat the coronavirus pandemic. The CDC recommended that sporting events and other large events and mass gatherings be cancelled or postponed for the next 8 weeks. Irfan Khan's much-anticipated film Angrezi Medium has hit the theatres. The film earned around 2.5 to 2.75 crore rupees till the weekend. The makers have stated that they will be releasing the film as it did not the expected viewership due to coronavirus scare. Tiger Shroff, Shraddha Kapoor and Ritesh Deshmukh's star Bhagi 3's total collection becomes around 94 crore rupees net and the film is to hit the 100 crore club. All the cinema halls, multiplexes, discotheques, swimming pools and gyms in Lucknow district have been ordered to be closed by 31st of March in view of the COVID-19 scare. Australian director Baz Luhrmann has taken himself and his family into voluntary quarantine after coming into contact with Tom Hanks on the set of his new untitled Elvis film. Luhrmann, his wife and 2 teenage children are isolating themselves. The film bodies in India, including the Federation of Western Indian Cine Employees and Indian Film and Television Directors Association, decided to put the shootings of films, TV shows and web series on hold from 19 to 31st of March. The meeting was attended amid rising health concerns over COVID-19. Today is the birthday of popular comedian of Hindi film industry, Rajpal Yadav. He's done some amazing comic roles and has given comedy a new turn altogether. Singer and actor Shweta Pandit pours her heart out as her second home, Italy, battles coronavirus. Shweta Pandit, who's currently in Italy, has taken to share the current situation and scenario. She's with her family in Tuscany, quarantined. Amitabh Bachchan cancelled his meeting with fans due to COVID-19 scare, though fans still thronged Jalsa and waited patiently for a glimpse of the legend. It seems that the tradition of queuing up outside his house will continue no matter how delicate the situation is. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.